Good morning. Today let's explore the 17th Homage to Green Tare. The quatrain reads as follows. Homage to Ture with stomping feet, whose essence is the seed syllable whom. You cause Mount Meru, Mandara, and Vindhya, and all three worlds to tremble and shake. We can look at this superficially. Tara is the great protector, and it can be very empowering to explore the potential, the possibility that Tara could protect us from external enemies and from adverse circumstances and even from great big scary demons. And we've already discussed in previous quatrains how the stomping of feet is actually used in the internal martial arts to generate both leverage, power, and it makes sense that it can be applied figuratively to the spiritual world to describe just the sheer ferocity and intelligence and cunning by which Tara could defend and protect us as the ultimate spiritual mama bear. And that's lovely. But let's dig deeper. Here's the deal. There are many fundamentalists, Buddhist tantric fundamentalists, who say that the completion stage practices, the mental yogas of the channels, winds, and drops, are only for the spiritual elite, people who've spent decades jumping through hoops. Then they can learn them. That's not Buddha's method. When you look at the history of Buddha's original teachings, he taught the mystic path and the intellectual path simultaneously, just as a bird requires both its wings to ascend to the skies. Likewise, you and I require both the Lam Rim teachings as well as the Chok Chen teachings, or the Mahamudra teachings, or the spooky Buddhist teachings. We need both the intellectual as well as the mystic. So, being a liberal and quite a controversial Lama, I teach both simultaneously from lesson 1. Now, the central channel yogas are a fantastic way of generating massive amounts of peace and massive amounts of bliss. But there is a central channel yoga technique which takes away the bliss and reveals the heart's inner workings, like pulling off the back of a still running clock and watching as the gears intermesh. I'll give you an example. One time I was working with a student who was very, very upset that she hadn't received her twin flame or her soulmate yet. And she was very, very angry and in great turmoil. So the first thing we did was we deconstructed her experience of that turmoil, of that anger, of that frustration, using the Lam Rim meditations, contemplations, mantra-empowered, assumptive, well-worded, contemplative questions based on the renunciation teachings, the compassion teachings, and the wisdom teachings, and the love teachings. And she felt better. Then we did some central channel yoga practices, working with the crown chakra and really helping her to experience the letting go. And she felt great. Then we returned to the heart chakra so we could experience awareness and letting go and really be aware of all the gurk that was in her heart. And that she didn't like. She much preferred running away from the gurk in her heart than really confronting it face to face. When it says, whose essence is the seed syllable whom, that's referring either to the lower tantra 5 syllables of Om, Hum, So, and Ha, or the Naropa's syllables of Ham, Om, Hum, and Ah. either way, in both systems, whom is corresponding to the heart chakra. And when explored, we come face to face with the turmoil in the heart. And you could say, hey man, I thought Buddhism was all about peace. Feeling fantastic. It can be, especially in the long run. But sometimes in order to cross a path, you must wade through some mud. And folks, if we don't confront what's going on in our heart, it's kind of like this. As a kid, remember as kids we were frightened that there were monsters in our closets? Well, guess what? There were, and there still are. We're not talking about the closet where you keep clothes. I'm talking about the metaphoric closet of our own inner mind, our own heart. There are monsters there. There is despair, and there is rage, and there is terror. And if we don't confront them, if we don't tame them, if we don't work with them, they will tear us apart. And since it's been said by the ancients, keep your friends closer, enemies closer. So that's the complete opposite of putting one's hands over one's eyes and going, la 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 la, there are no monsters in my closet, my heart is pristine and happy. No, we have to confront the inner gurk. That's why we practice, one of the reasons why we practice the Mahamudra of awareness and letting go. And when we look at this passage, we can be reminded that when we allow ourselves to explore our heart, Tade can really shake things up. And once again, externally this verse is talking about Tade shaking things up under the earth, on the earth, and above the earth. And that's very quaint and very lovely. But here's the thing. Anyone who's accomplished the path is familiar with the phrase, the shaking up. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's easy to get carried away with the mystic practices and generate all this contrived peace and think, dude, I am really kicking ass. Oh, how spiritual I am. Come, you may touch my elbow for $1. But that's a superficial, contrived peace. There's nothing wrong with it. It's useful. It has its place. But it's not all important. The shaking up practices are just that. They shake. It's kind of like it's like throwing a rock at an anthill, and all of a sudden a multitude of ants come rushing out. Right? It's the same thing. Or it's like taking a porcelain piggy bank and throwing it to the ground and watching all the coins go scattering. Same thing with the heart. It's like, great, you've said the long rim, you've learned how to work with channels with some drops, great. Now let's open, now that you've got the safety nets in place, let's break open that heart. Let's be aware of all that stuff inside of it, so we can practice the yogas of awareness and letting go, because that's crucial to being able to survive and thrive in life. Anyone can generate peace sitting on their tushy with their legs crossed. The test of our practice is when we get up for meditation and we wade in it up to our knees, when we wade through life and all its glories and all its grotesqueries. Can we still feel what we feel, yet not be carried away by what we feel? Anyone can practice bliss and peace when life is giving them roses. But when life is beating you about the head and shoulders with a shillelagh, that's what's can you know peace then? That's what separates the men from the boys. Now, is Tata some great celestial bully come to beat us up? No, not so much with the bully. She's helping us. Not only is she helping us with our protecting us from our external enemies, but from our internal ones. Not by just making them go away, but by teaching us how to cope with them. My friends, if you don't have a teacher, you need to find one. Find one who can teach you Lam Rim, not only intellectually, but viscerally, in an easy and transformative manner. You find a teacher to teach you Chak Chen or Mahamudra, not just intellectually, but in an easy, approachable, pragmatic way that's viscerally and rapidly effective. And not just that, you need to find a teacher who has the insight to see beyond the porcelain mask of our facade and see the crawly bits underneath it, and who has the wisdom, the courage, and the love, and the compassion to call us on the carpet and say, hey, Sonny Jim, you got some things to work on. Right now, you need to work on thus and such. Now, I'll help you. I'll take you by the hand. I'll baby step you through the woods. I'll take you from Mordor back to the Shire. But you got to make the journey with me. If we don't have a teacher who has the insight, the skillful means, or the love to do that, then Johnny, we done backed the wrong horse. Now, I'm going to chant the quatrain for you using the bookend chant. Homage to Dude with stomping feet, whose essence is the Sitsalabul, whom you cause Mamaru Mandara Vinja, and all three rules to tremble and shake. Having subjected you to the horrors of my chanting, I bid you a very good day. I want to remind you, let's see, where's the button? I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button and the share button. I'm sorry, the like button, which opens up the share button and stuff like that, which is great. Of course, I want to remind you to check out the links below on the YouTube page so that you can find your way to the registration page and join me for the next series of weekly webinars. Folks, it's so easy. You come to a 2-hour webinar once a week, you do your homework twice a day, you watch the videos and read the blogs I put out, and there's no reason why you can't become a high boomy bodhisattva in less than 1 calendar year. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I thank you for your time and your kind attention. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Tade Tutade Ture Soha. Bye-bye.